Let me ask you a question that you may have never asked yourself. Whose life are you really living? Pause. Don't rush past that question. Are you constructing your life from the blueprints of your own definite purpose? Or have you been following a pattern designed by someone else, your parents, your peers, or society itself? If you wish to attain success, you must begin with this. You must prioritize yourself. For the man who does not make himself the central figure in his own life story will always play a minor role in someone else's. There is no wealth, no greatness, no legacy that can be built until you establish yourself as the foundation. This is not selfishness. This is the first act of responsibility. Until you master yourself, you cannot master your outcomes. When I speak of prioritizing yourself, I do not speak of indulgence or ease. I speak of the discipline to become clear on what you want and the courage to eliminate what you do not. Life is constantly tempting you to focus outward, to chase approval, to follow distractions, to adjust your course based on external voices. But the truly successful man, he withdraws his attention from the noise and places it back into the center of his own being. He learns that the inner world governs the outer world. Your thoughts shape your results. Your attitude directs your opportunities. Your habits build your destiny. Therefore, you must protect the source of your power, you. Understand this. The universe does not reward the man who dabbles. It rewards the man who decides. If you are to rise above mediocrity, you must develop the ability to focus intensely and consistently on one chief aim. This aim must be more than a wish. It must be a burning desire. It must occupy your thoughts, influence your decisions, and command your time. Anything that does not contribute to that aim must be discarded. This is not cruelty. It is clarity. Every successful man I have ever studied, every industrial titan, inventor, thinker, or leader possessed this one trait. They knew what they wanted, and they refused to be pulled from it. Can you say the same of yourself? Now, let us talk about time. You were not born to simply pass time. You were born to use it wisely. Time is the currency of achievement, and your future wealth will be the exact result of how you invest it now. Ask yourself, am I acting with purpose today, or am I merely moving? Busyness is not the same as effectiveness. Many people fill their days with activity, but never move closer to their true goals. Why? Because they do not think. They do not plan. They do not prioritize themselves enough to say no. Learn this phrase well. The man who says yes to everything is saying no to his own greatness. You will be tested, and your focus will be challenged. Life will disguise lessons as delays and growth as struggle. But this is the way of nature. A seed must push through darkness before it reaches the sunlight. So too must you endure the invisible phase of success. The moments when results are absent, applause is missing, and doubt begins to whisper in your ear. In these moments, remember this law. What you persist in believing, you will eventually see. Your subconscious mind is always listening. It is always receiving instructions spoken through your dominant thoughts. If you constantly speak of failure, you are commanding your subconscious to create it. If you speak of victory, even when you see none, you are planting the seed of your future reality. That is why you must protect your mind like a fortress. Do not entertain thoughts that weaken you. Do not absorb the pessimism of the masses. Do not argue for your limitations. If you feed your mind with doubt, it will create delay. But if you feed your mind with faith, backed by action, It will yield breakthroughs beyond comprehension. Train yourself to act as if success is inevitable, not because it is guaranteed, but because you have decided that nothing less is acceptable. That level of inner certainty cannot be bought. It must be built. Built through discipline, through repetition, through mastery over mood and emotion. Emotions are servants, not masters. And many men have been defeated not by failure, but by fatigue of feeling. One day they feel powerful, and the next they feel weak. One day they believe, and the next they doubt. This inconsistency is fatal to all progress. You must build emotional discipline. You must learn to act with strength, even when you feel uncertain. To move forward, even when motivation is absent. To commit even when you are surrounded by confusion. Why? Because feelings follow focus. The more you focus on your purpose, the more energy you create. The more energy you have, the more disciplined you become. And the more disciplined you become, the more unstoppable you are. Let's be honest. Most people will never do this. They will drift. They will delay. They will depend on circumstances to motivate them. But not you. You must be different. You must be definite. Every day you must review your goal. Write it. Speak it. Visualize it. Feel it. Every morning must begin with a mental command to your subconscious. This is what I want. This is who I am becoming. This is why I will not stop. And then act. Act even when no one is watching. Act even when results are not showing. Act even when the world is silent. Why? Because success comes not to the man who starts with fire, but to the one who refuses to stop burning. Let us speak now of standards. A man becomes what he tolerates. If you tolerate laziness, you will become it. If you tolerate excuses, you will defend them. If you tolerate disorder, you will attract chaos. But if you begin to raise your standards, to only allow into your life what strengthens you, you will begin to transform. You cannot attract wealth while entertaining poverty in your habits. You cannot attract discipline while allowing disorder in your routine. Begin to demand more from yourself, not out of harshness, but out of recognition. You are the builder of your own life, and the builder must use strong materials, strong thoughts, strong decisions, strong habits. Success is not a one-time act. It is a way of being, a way of breathing, thinking, planning, and doing. You must make success a part of your identity. Not a destination to reach, but a state to live in. This means that your habits must align with your highest vision. If you say you want success but start your day in chaos, you are lying to yourself. If you claim to value your purpose but spend your hours in distraction, you are sabotaging your own progress. You must tell yourself the truth, and then you must act on it. Daily, repeatedly, until it becomes who you are. Do not be discouraged if the results are slow. That is part of the process. Remember, nature does not rush, yet everything is accomplished. The seed you plant today may not bloom tomorrow, but it is growing. The universe is always moving. It is always responding to your vibration, your frequency, your consistency. Your job is not to force the result. Your job is to remain in alignment with it through thought, emotion, and behavior. Every day that you remain in harmony with your vision, you become magnetized to it. And eventually it must find you because you have become a match for it. Now ask yourself again, are you living for yourself or for the world? Are you building your life or watching others build theirs? Are you willing to focus even when it's boring? even when it's lonely, even when it's slow, because that is the real test. Anyone can move when it's easy, but the man who can move when it's hard, that man becomes a legend. Do not look for applause in the early stages. The world does not reward the man in preparation. It only notices him once the fruits arrive. But that is no reason to delay your work. True success is forged in silence. It is earned in the dark when no one is watching. Every day you show up for yourself, every task you finish in solitude, every decision you make in private, that is where real power is born. You must learn to be content with internal rewards before external ones appear. If you can do that, you are already wealthier than most. For the man who is at peace with his effort is already victorious, regardless of how long the outcome takes. You must stop measuring progress by the visible alone. There are roots growing beneath the soil you cannot see. Every repetition, every hour of study, every disciplined act is expanding your capacity. Just because results are not instant does not mean they are not certain. The universe honors consistency, and the man who stays in motion even when the climb is steep always reaches higher ground. But there is one condition. You must not stop, not when you're tired, not when you're uncertain, not even when others tell you it's time to quit. The law of persistence does not bend to emotion. It only yields to action. Let's return to the concept of prioritization. You must become ruthless with your energy. Ask yourself, what steals your focus? What drains your mind? What adds no value to your purpose? These are the silent enemies of your greatness. They may seem small, harmless, a casual scroll, a toxic conversation, an aimless task, but make no mistake, they are thieves. And they rob you of the very power needed to build your destiny. A man cannot build a temple with cracked bricks. Likewise, you cannot build success with broken focus. Every time you allow distraction, you pay with progress. And the price over time is devastating. To conquer this, you must design your environment. Control your surroundings before they control you. Create spaces where your mind is triggered to focus. Remove temptations that divide your thoughts. Replace low-energy habits with rituals that uplift and sharpen. Begin your day with intention, not reaction. A focused mind does not wait for the world to tell it what to do. It commands itself. That is what self-prioritization means. It is not arrogance, it is alignment. You are aligning yourself with the version of you that already has the life you desire. Live like him. Think like him. Work like him now, not later. It is in the now where all power exists. Most people live in delay. They say, I'll start when I feel ready, or I'll commit once I see results. But those who wait for readiness are always beaten by those who act in faith. Faith is the bridge between your vision and your reality. You must believe that what you cannot yet see is already forming. And belief is not passive. It is demonstrated through action. If you believe your goal is possible, your behavior must reflect that belief. If you truly desire wealth, your daily habits must mirror that desire. Otherwise, your life is just wishful thinking dressed up as work. Let us now consider the power of clarity. Clarity gives birth to courage. When a man is clear on what he wants, no obstacle can deter him. But most people never get clear. They float. They generalize. They say, I want more, but they never define what more means. Success does not respond to vague intentions. It responds to precision. What do you want exactly? Why do you want it? What are you willing to do for it? Until these answers are sharp and unwavering, your energy will be scattered. You cannot hit a target you do not define. So define it, and then narrow your focus like a laser. Laser focus is not a natural gift. It is a trained discipline. And like all disciplines, it begins in the mind. You must guard your thoughts as a king guards his crown. Doubt, fear, comparison, these are the invaders. And once they enter, they multiply. You cannot afford to let them linger. You must replace them with thoughts of power, of capability, of certainty. Speak to yourself as the champion you are becoming. Declare it daily. Not once, but over and over again until your subconscious accepts it as law. This is how transformation occurs. Not through a single moment of motivation, but through repeated acts of alignment. Now, understand this. You will be misunderstood. When you begin to prioritize yourself, you will unsettle others. Your silence will confuse them. Your boundaries will offend them. Your growth will expose their stagnation. And they may call you arrogant, cold, selfish. Let them, for their approval is not your assignment. Your purpose is. And if they cannot respect your path, they were never meant to walk beside you. Do not dilute yourself for the comfort of others. Do not apologize for rising. Do not slow down to make others feel better about staying the same. The man who wins is the man who dares to go alone when needed. Every step forward will demand something from you. Old habits must die. Old identities must be shed. You cannot carry your past into your future. So if you want elevation, prepare for separation. You may lose friendships, routines, comfort zones, but that is the cost of transformation. Ask yourself, is temporary discomfort worth permanent greatness? Because the truth is this, if you're not willing to let go of the lesser, you will never access the greater. That is the law. Nature does not allow something new to grow where something old still dominates. Make room, clear space, become empty enough to be filled. You must also understand the difference between action and movement. Some people stay busy all day but achieve nothing that moves them forward. You must learn to distinguish urgent from important. The urgent demands your attention. The important demands your focus. Not everything that screams for your time deserves it. Ask yourself at every turn, is this bringing me closer to my vision or distracting me from it? Learn to pause. Learn to assess. Learn to act with purpose, not pressure. That is how results are created, not by speed, but by strategy. Strategy requires thought, and thought requires space. This is why solitude is a gift. In silence, you hear yourself. In stillness, you receive insight. Do not fear being alone. That is where leaders are born. Every great thinker, every wealthy creator, every high achiever I've ever known spent time in solitude, not to escape the world, but to command it. Use time alone to recalibrate, to realign, to remind yourself of who you are and why you began. A man who knows himself cannot be shaken. His focus becomes bulletproof, and his success only a matter of time. You must remember, there is no overnight success. There's only daily effort. Results are not found, they are built, brick by brick, through consistent action. You must fall in love with the process. You must learn to find satisfaction not only in the reward, but in the work itself. Success is not a moment, it is a lifestyle. And the man who learns to enjoy repetition, to take pride in consistency, to celebrate quiet progress, He will always outlast the man who depends on motivation or applause. The invisible work creates visible wealth. Never forget that. So ask yourself again, are your actions aligned with your ambition? Are you truly focused or merely busy? Are you prioritizing your goals or are you reacting to the chaos around you? Because if you are not building your dream, you are helping someone else build theirs. This is not a rehearsal. This is your life. And every day you delay your power, you prolong your purpose. No one is coming to push you. No one is going to hand you greatness. It must be taken, owned, forged in fire, and claimed with faith. That is your duty. That is your destiny. Progress begins the moment you stop asking for permission to pursue your own greatness. Understand this. No one owes you understanding. No one is required to believe in your vision, support your path, or clap for your milestones. That responsibility belongs to you alone. You were not born to be managed by the opinions of others. You were born to be governed by the definiteness of your own purpose. That purpose must be so strong, so vivid in your heart, that nothing outside of you can dilute it. Not rejection, not resistance, not delay. The clearer you are about your direction, the less noise matters. Now I want to speak to you about emotional discipline, one of the most underestimated factors in achieving success. There will be days when you feel empty. You will be tempted to quit when progress feels invisible. But emotions are not leaders, they are indicators. They tell you how you feel, not what is true. The truth is this: results come slowly, but consistently. Emotional maturity is doing the work even when the mood is absent. Success is not an emotion, it is a system. And systems do not operate on how you feel, they operate on what you decide. You must become a master of your own mood. Stop waiting for the perfect morning to be productive. Stop waiting for motivation to act. Winners build momentum from movement, not from inspiration. The man who acts without waiting becomes the architect of his own destiny. You are not weak because you feel tired. You are strong because you keep going anyway. You are not behind because results are slow. You are ahead because you refuse to stop. Every act of consistency builds character, and character is the container for success. Without it, success leaks. With it, success is sustained. Let's revisit the idea of prioritization, not as an act of selfishness, but of sacred stewardship. Your energy is your currency. How you spend it determines what multiplies in your life. Spend it on complaints, and your problems grow. Spend it on fear, and your doubts will flourish. Spend it on discipline, and your future expands. You must treat your energy like a precious resource, because it is. Do not give it away to anything that does not serve your vision. You don't owe your attention to distraction. You don't owe your time to chaos. You owe your life to your calling. And your calling requires focus, not ordinary focus, but definiteness of purpose. This is the principle on which all achievement is built. You must have one major goal, one chief aim that directs all your thoughts, decisions, and actions. A scattered mind produces scattered results, but a focused man becomes magnetic. His vision pulls people, opportunities, and resources toward him like iron to a magnet. Why? Because clarity creates momentum. When you know exactly what you want, you move with precision. You speak with conviction. You live with urgency. And life begins to respond with opportunities only visible to the focused. Now let's speak of faith, not as a religious term, but as a mindset. Faith is the ability to believe in what has not yet materialized. It is seeing the result in your mind before it appears in your reality. Without faith, every setback becomes a sign to quit. With faith, every setback becomes a stepping stone. You must have faith in your process, in your habits, in your evolution. The man who cultivates belief in himself does not require evidence to continue. His faith is the evidence. Your future is already formed in the invisible. Your job is to keep showing up until the visible catches up. But this requires patience. Patience is not passive. It is not idle. It is the quiet strength to endure the unseen without losing trust in the outcome. Most people quit not because the goal was impossible, but because they demanded speed over substance. Real success requires roots, and roots take time. If you build fast, you may build wide, but if you build deep, you will last. Do not trade longevity for applause. Do not trade mastery for visibility. Let your greatness mature in silence. When it blooms, it will need no explanation. There is a war taking place inside your mind. Every day, two voices fight for control. One of progress, one of procrastination. One says, you are capable. The other says, you are not ready. You must decide which voice rules. Because whichever voice you obey becomes your reality. You do not rise by chance. You rise by choice. Every morning, choose to align with the voice that lifts, the one that reminds you of your worth, your vision, your power. Let that voice dominate. Let it echo louder than fear. Train your inner dialogue to speak in the language of victory. Let us now address one of the most powerful habits for wealth and success. Intentional solitude. Great minds are never developed in noise. You must create space in your day for silence, reflection, and self-communication. This is where intuition speaks. This is where strategy is born. In silence, you recalibrate your direction. You ask, am I aligned? Am I intentional? Am I efficient? A man who lives without reflection lives in reaction. But the one who carves silence into his schedule will always lead with foresight. Your calendar reveals your character. If your day is filled with tasks but void of growth, you are not progressing. Replace low-value activities with high-return habits. Read, write, strategize. Move your body. Guard your sleep. Build your network. Invest in your skills. These are not just good ideas. They are sacred obligations for the man who wants to multiply. Wealth does not appear from thin air. It appears through structured thought and intentional action, repeated over time with increasing clarity. Every great transformation begins with a decision to act differently. But decisions alone are not enough. They must be repeated until they become identity. The man who performs successful habits daily does not just get results. He becomes the kind of man who attracts them. That is the real victory. Not what you do, but who you become. Because wealth flows not to effort alone, but to alignment. When your habits, beliefs, and actions are all congruent with your vision, life begins to reward you without resistance. The habits that felt boring, the efforts that felt invisible, this is you. And soon, when your opportunity comes, you will be red because you never stopped preparing. Understand this. Wealth is attracted to order. If your mind is cluttered, your finances will be chaotic. If your habits are unstable, your business will lack roots. If your priorities are divided, your progress will be diluted. Bring order to your mind. Bring structure to your day. Bring discipline to your words. Wealth is not just a goal, it is a vibration. When your life matches the frequency of abundance, it shows up. But you must first become the kind of person who can hold it, not just chase it. Lastly, let me remind you, every step forward, no matter how small, is sacred. Do not curse the slowness of your journey. Bless it. Honor it, because it is yours. It is making you who you must become to carry the weight of what you've asked for. If success came instantly, it would crush you. But because it comes through discipline, through delay, through focus, you grow with it. That is the mercy of the process. It does not give you the prize until you are prepared to protect it. Let us now come to a universal truth that most ignore until they have suffered long enough to wake up. If you do not prioritize yourself, you will become a tool in someone else's agenda. Life will hand you roles you never agreed to, responsibilities you never chose, and burdens you never earned. But remember, you are not here to be a servant to circumstances. You are here to become the master of your fate. And mastering your fate begins with drawing a line in the sand and saying, from this point forward, I will not abandon myself to please others, to meet their expectations, or to maintain their comfort. I choose me. Choosing yourself is not selfish, it is sacred. It means you understand that unless your cup is full, you cannot pour into anyone else. It means you protect your time, your mind, your energy, because they are the foundation of your greatness. The world may try to shame you into guilt. They will say, you've changed. And your answer must be, yes, I've evolved. They will say, you think too highly of yourself. And your answer must be, I finally recognize my worth. Let them misunderstand you. Let them question you. Because your life is not a democracy, it is a mission. And every mission requires solitude, clarity, and unwavering focus. You cannot build an empire while attending every distraction that knocks. The man who chases 2 rabbits catches none. So eliminate divided attention. Reduce noise. Remove what is not aligned. You do not need more apps, more routines, more advice. You need fewer interruptions. The most successful people on earth are not the busiest, they are the most selective. Be ruthless in guarding your mind. Not everything deserves your attention. And certainly, not everyone deserves access to your energy. Now let us talk about sacrifice. You cannot gain without giving something up. The question is not, can you have it all? The question is, what are you willing to release to receive what you truly want? You may have to give up the comfort of validation, the addiction to distractions, the habit of procrastination, or the safety of mediocrity. Most men fear sacrifice because it creates discomfort. But discomfort is not your enemy. It is the price of entry into the life you are destined for. Embrace it. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, for discomfort is the gem where strength is born. Consistency without belief is mechanical, but belief without consistency is fantasy. You must combine the two to create momentum. This is how wealth and success are built. Habit stacked upon habit, belief layered with effort, mindset reinforced by repetition, day by day, inch by inch, until the invisible becomes visible, until the dream becomes reality. Let the world sleep while you rise. Let others scroll while you study. Let the ordinary mock while you move, because soon they will ask you how you did it. And your answer will be simple. I never stopped. Your results are the product of your rituals. Not once a week, not when it's convenient. Every single day. You want wealth? You must think like the wealthy, speak like the wealthy, move like the wealthy. That does not mean pretending. It means aligning. Wealth is not just about money. It is about expansion. It is about becoming more valuable. And you become more valuable through self-discipline, specialized knowledge, intentional thought, and unwavering purpose. Become the person your future demands, not someday, now. This is why I tell you, prioritize your peace. Chaos is expensive. It drains your creativity, your health, your relationships, and your results. Learn to say no without guilt. Not every request deserves your time. Not every emergency belongs to you. And not every opportunity is meant for your path. The more focused you become, the more selective you must be. Treat your attention like a sacred contract. If it doesn't build you, don't sign it. If it doesn't align with your mission, don't entertain it. You do not owe people explanations for your boundaries. Your alignment is your justification. Now let's address thought control, a pillar of all my teachings. Every action begins with a thought, and every thought repeated becomes a belief. So if you are not managing your mind, you are allowing random input to program your destiny. Take responsibility. Speak to yourself with power. Every morning, declare who you are and where you are going. Say it out loud. Not for others to hear, but for your subconscious to obey. I am focused. I am wealthy. I am disciplined. I am creating my future. Your subconscious mind responds to repetition. Feed it with the words that build your future. You are not poor because of your bank account. You are poor because of your self-concept. Wealth does not come to those who beg. It comes to those who become. So become. Become the man who makes appointments with himself, who wakes before the noise, who studies when others sleep, who works when no one is watching, who prioritizes purpose over popularity, and above all, who never lets failure become identity. Failure is simply feedback, nothing more. The successful man studies it, adjusts, and keeps moving. The unsuccessful man internalizes it, retreats, and self-destructs. Choose wisely. Understand this. The results you see are a delayed reflection of the habits you keep. If you want new results, do not chase speed. Chase alignment. Small hinges swing big doors. One new habit, practiced daily, can change your entire trajectory. Wake up earlier. Read 10 pages. Write your goals. Move your body. Guard your focus. Review your win. It doesn't need to be complicated. It needs to be consistent. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Simplicity practiced deeply will outperform brilliance practiced rarely. If you want to be rich, stop acting like time is cheap. Wealthy people do not waste time. They multiply it. They create systems, build teams, set boundaries, and eliminate low-value tasks. You are not too busy. You are under-prioritized. Start measuring your days in energy, not just hours. What drains you? What fuels you? Build your schedule around that. Time is the currency of results, and every day wasted in distraction is a deposit into regret. You are not running out of time, you're running out of focus. And let me offer you this. Legacy is the ultimate return on discipline. When you die, your results will speak louder than your excuses ever did. Your consistency will echo longer than your complaints. So live in such a way that your discipline becomes immortal, that your grandchildren study your rituals, that your name becomes synonymous with courage, clarity, and contribution. Do not chase trends, build truth. Do not seek approval, build impact. Do not drift, build legacy. Now we come to the essence of everything I've said to you. You must prioritize yourself until you no longer have to explain why, until your success becomes your silence, until your vision speaks louder than your words. This is the power of discipline, the reward of consistency, the gift of focus. You become untouchable, not because of what you say, but because of what you do and who you become while doing it. So let me leave you with this. When it's dark, stay focused. When it's slow, stay consistent. When it's lonely, stay faithful. When it's quiet, stay committed. When the world doubts you, stay aligned. And when the results come, stay humble. Because you are not just building a life, you are building a standard. You are not just chasing success, you are becoming success. And in doing so, you do not just attract wealth, you embody it. The journey is long, but it is worth it. You may not see the full picture today, but you are laying the bricks, one choice at a time, one habit at a time, one moment at a time. So keep building and never forget, you are the architect. You are the vision. You are the proof.